Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be planting 2 of these Romeo Cleyera from the Southern Living Plant Collection. These are really beautiful variegated Cleyera here. I planted 3 Juliet Cleyera right over here next to these. There's a slightly different variegation on the 2 of them. I'll give you some close-ups of the variegation on each of them. I'm going to be using these as a screen here from the road. You see behind me how open it is. There's a Chinese fringe tree here, a Japanese maple here. I'm spacing 2 of these right in the middle. I've got super heavy clay soil. Cleyera likes moist, well-drained soil. In this clay-based soil I have here, which is such heavy, dark red clay, I mix some pine bark soil conditioner in with it. If you can't find pine bark soil conditioner at one of the box stores, which is just ground up, really fine ground up pine bark, then just get compost and that will be totally fine, and mix it about 50-50 with the clay if you have clay soils. If you have well-draining soils like sand or something like that, you could also mix in a little bit of compost if you want to, but these are pretty rugged plants. They don't really need a whole lot. These are hardy in zones 7 to 10. Pretty rugged plants. They're disease and insect resistant, moderately fast growing. I think the green varieties of Cleyera, which I've covered Leanne and I've covered Bigfoot and some of the other Southern Living Plant Collection ones, the green varieties are probably going to grow a little faster than the variegated varieties. That's just kind of how variegated plants work. They don't have quite as much chlorophyll to work with, but man, will it be worth it. This is such a beautiful plant. I mean, really spectacularly beautiful plant. It's got the yellow and green variegation, or creamy white and green variegation during the growing season, and then like a rosy pink color on it in the fall and winter time. Really, really beautiful plant. If you pull it out of the container and the roots are matted down, go ahead and break them up just a little bit. These aren't wrapped too badly, really, so I'm not that worried about it. I dug this hole maybe twice the width of the root ball and about the same depth, and so what I'm going to end up doing here, I got to mix this clay and bark together here, where I put this bark on top of this clay. I'm going to pull this plant back out of the hole and put a little bit of this mix right in the bottom of it. That way the plant is sticking up above the original grade about 2 inches, and that's going to be absolutely perfect. And I'm going to rake in the rest of the soil again with this chunky clay. I do try to break it up a little bit, and this bark will really just keep it from recompacting while it gets rooted into the surrounding soil. I'll water these in really, really well, and then I'll let them dry out between rains and waterings a little bit so that they get rooted out into the surrounding soil. They go looking for water. Romeo and Juliet Cleyera are going to reach somewhere in the 8 to 10 foot range in height and about maybe 5 to 6 feet in width. I'm spacing these probably 4.5 feet apart or so. That'll be perfect, about the same distance from the trees here. These are definitely sun or part shade plants. I think it would probably do fine in the shade, but you'd probably lose a bit of brightness in the variegation, and they would probably grow a little bit thinner. So very full, compact habit in the sun. And that's pretty much it. I've left it elevated about 2 inches. I amended that clay soil because, like I say, it likes moist, well-drained soils. If you have a sandier or better draining soil, you may really just not need to do anything to amend the soil, but still leave it elevated a little bit. I'll come back in here and rake I've got triple shredded hardwood mulch over here. I'll just rake this around it, back around it, and it's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one in the ground, and then I'll show you some close-ups. So here are the 2 Romeos that I just put in, and these are the 3 Juliet Cleyera that I planted earlier this spring. They're just absolutely beautiful plants. And like I say, they'll end up about 8 to 10 feet high over here over time. But look at this beautiful variegation that Juliet has. These look like the leaves are kind of individually painted. Everyone's kind of different. And then over here is these Romeo that I just put in. And the variegation is quite a bit more striking. I mean, it's a wider variegation on the edge of the leaf, and therefore I think it's a little bit showier from some distance. Tell me what you think in the comments about the difference between these 2. Both of them will get that kind of rosy pink coloration in the fall and winter. You can see a little bit of that showing up right there. So with these Romeo Cleyera, that makes 3 of the varieties from the Southern Living Plant Collection I have in my yard. I've got Leanne Cleyera, I've got the Juliet Cleyera here, and now, like I say, these Romeo. Let me know in the description again which one of these two variegated ones you prefer. Juliet has that almost looks like painted variegation on it, where Romeo has this broader yellow or creamy white edge on the leaves. They're both very, very striking, very, very beautiful, and make great screening plants here. Thank you very much for watching this video.